Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. This is episode number 58. I am Len D'Amico, and tonight it is my great pleasure to introduce Brian Clash.
Hey, how's it going?
Brian, thank you for coming, man.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here, Len.
I love Brian Clash band performances. I mean, it's sort of like a guilty pleasure. There's so many out there, but your guys are one of the special places at my heart.
Well, thanks, man. It's just, we love being out there. We love playing, and we love having you there, man. It's very cool.
Yeah. So Brian Clash is the frontman guitarist. Do you manage the band as well, Brian?
Between me and Tina, yeah,
Okay.
our drummer, yeah, we kind of just split those duties up a little bit because she has very good management skills and helps me out too. So
Yeah, definitely. And we see you guys a lot at El Dorado.
yeah, Eldorado's not the racetrack, but Eldorado's it's up on Morse and High Street. There, just north of Clintonville. It's a great place, and we actually played our debut show there, and that's kind of our home field. That's where we kind of go out and play, and we're kind of the house band there now. So
El Dorado's has certainly been good to so many in Columbus, Ohio, that are part of the music scene.
absolutely,
And I think you guys are no exception. They really have embraced what's going on with the Brian Clash band and others as well. But
yeah, they've been truly helpful to us and so many bands now that every Tuesday they do what's a new music showcase, and that's where we played our debut set. And as I said, we've been there several times since, and they've just been really nice there. Nebby and Debbie are really great in just getting new bands out there, and just great to be on a stage, and it's a nice stage to be on, nice lights, and the sound man Matt Jones is amazing. He makes you sound great, makes you sound even better than you are.
he's a historic figure too, and he's gonna come and do a podcast episode.
Oh, is he?
Very
Okay.
shortly, I think. From this point, maybe a couple weeks tops.
Yeah, he's drummed in some of my other incarnations of bands, and earlier incarnation of the Brian Clash band, Matt Jones was drumming. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
For the Brian Clash band though, how would you describe the Brian Clash band in regard to a genre? I mean, you're primarily some covers, but you have a certain sound.
Right. The sound that we kind of really want to get across, the sound that really kind of moves us as a band is this kind of proto kind of punk slash garage alternative, kind of like 60s. If you think like bands like the Trogs, and you think like Velvet Underground, and even stuff like the Monkees, just that great kind of raw music, guitars, drums, guitar, bass, and drums, that basic combination. That's really where we want to kind of have that sensibility, and that's kind of where we build our original music as well.
How many? What's your catalog look like in regard to original music?
Original music now, going back, as I said, I also perform under my real name, Brian Griffin, and no relation to the Family Guy dog, but it's and I've released 3 albums of original music of solo work, and that's just like mainly acoustic guitar, kind of folk almost in a way, protest music, and those came out like in 2003 and 2005. And right now I've been working with, for the last, almost 12 years now, I've been working with Willie Phoenix. He's been producing me, and we also been kind of doing some songwriting work together as well, which is been wonderful.
Well, I can only imagine. How did you meet Willie, and how did that relationship forge itself?
Well, it actually started back some 40 years ago, when I was like a student on the Ohio State campus, and I was like listening to music. I was into punk rock music. I was into, all this. There was like such great music going around at that time, and then some of the local stuff as well. I was listening to Ronald Cole and the Trillionaires, and Screaming Urge, and one of the fixtures on High Street was Willie Phoenix, and you would see him walking from place to place. I would always kind of see him. I still lived at home in Arlington and at the time, and I was driving my car, and I would see him going up the street, and I would say like, "Hey Willie, you need a ride?" And he'd like, "Oh yeah, sure, man." And then
Oh,
he'd get in the
cool.
car, we just I'd take him wherever he needed to go, and also seeing him perform too at that time, just an amazing power and just that presence, but he owned the room when he performed.
He certainly has charisma,
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
and he really he's just a joy to be a part of his performances. And just his
Oh, yes.
his historic presence, and it's just wonderful to be a part of those shows.
It is just, and at the time he was just with a band called the Shadow Lords, and this was just right after he put out his first kind of independent, it wasn't independent, it was on Epic Records solo album, and he was rocking out with this band and just amazing music, and he just gave it all on the stage, gave it all for the people. And that's just, it
That's where
inspired
it's
me
at,
then, it
man.
still does.
Yeah, and you do the same, man. I mean, I've seen several of your shows, Brian, and I haven't seen your solo act over the years, but I have seen Brian Clash in action, and it's definitely what you described. Learning apparently that lesson and influence
Oh, yeah.
from Willie Phoenix himself, right? You at the end of your set, and you guys walk off, you're plowed, man. You're done. You left it all on the stage, and that's where it's at. It really
And
is.
that's, when something like that, when you're performing, I just want to get the message across to everyone. And I just want to just really feel I want to get the energy out and just let everyone be aware that we're in this moment. We're alive right now. Let's make something happen. Let's do something with these lives these beautiful gifts that we're given.
Yes, and you're blessed with these skills and gifts, and you're sharing it
It's a blessing.
with your bandmates and the material that you're coming up with, and the original music and your collaborations there with. It sounds like some strong mentors.
Yes. And as I said, Willie's been, a big influence and just a big help along the way too. If you told me like 40 years ago I'd be, performing with this guy and creating music with him, doing songwriting sessions, it's just like, yeah, sure, but it's happened, and it's one of those life joys, and I'm so fortunate to have these connections, these links in the chain, and just to carry it along to, hopefully, I know like growing up, like music, like the Clash and stuff really inspired me to just get out and do something. And it has, and I'm trying to do it now and more than ever. And keep on going until I can't.
Yeah, that's a good goal, man. That's a good goal. It's really good.
Hopefully for a long time.
It's inspirational.
But
And I've witnessed the energy, and I've felt it, and it's really, really just a great example, Brian. Congratulations on where you are and where you're going to be, down the road here.
we have a lot of stuff. This current group that we've been together, Brian Clash Band, for the last year and a half or so, has been a wonderful ride. We'll call it a beautiful ride, and there's still lots of road ahead right now, and we're really looking forward to getting more stuff out.
Yeah, so you're obviously working on original material. Do you have
Yes.
an official EP or album that's current?
We do. Last August, we released our first album as the Brian Clash Band called Love You All. And it was recorded at Brian Eastman Studios and also at Music Hall with Doug Edwards engineering that, and Willie was producing it with us, and Brian Eastman as well. And it's just a beautiful 9-song album. All originals, stuff I wrote, stuff I created, and also couple songs by Willie that he's written for the band. You know, he had it's like he came up with this music one day. It's like, oh, I have some songs I'm writing for the band, and I thought you might like this. And it's just like, we'll look at it. It's like an amazing song. It's like, yeah, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so did he have the lyrics and the music kind of arranged already?
Yeah, on a couple of things were just, they're just pure Willie
Ideas.
Phoenix
Oh.
songs. He had like, okay, yeah, here's like the lyrics, and even like have like a demo for us, and that we would kind of just build off them. And then other times we would we have songwriting sessions. We would go to the park, like the Park of Roses, and just kind of sit on a bench out there. Usually a nice day. We find a nice day to just get out there, and we just start. He'll have some more. I add like a bridge to it, or I'll have like lyrics, and then we'll create some music to it. Those songs, those collaboration songs, are really wonderful.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So where can we find this music?
Right now, you can find all of my recorded music on Bandcamp. If you go to do a search on Bandcamp under Brian Clash Griffin.
Okay. Yeah, what we'll do, Brian, we'll put a link to that music.
Oh, yeah.
In your episode description.
And I believe also we're on Apple Music right now with the Brian Clash Band, and I'm going to be putting that work up on also all the other streaming services.
So think the sound of punk and the Clash, obviously,
Yes.
some influence there.
Absolutely.
And you're covering some good stuff, but your original music too, I think, is really going to be something I personally want to spend some more time on.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah. It's been great to get these songs out there, and after so much time, one big thing in my life and has been like trying not to waste the time, trying to make the most of the time that we've been given, and just get this stuff out there.
Yeah, man, that's it's really good to see somebody actually taking it to heart and moving it forward, and you're doing that, good for you.
It's been this last year, as I said, it's just been really, the pieces kind of been coming together, and just more, and things have just been moving. You could see it happening, which is sometimes we would do, like in previous projects, we would do something, and then something would come and derail it, and then it's like, oh, I have to start from square one again. But this has kind of been building organically, and it just feels when you're in that flow, and it's been flowing pretty well right now.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah.
For sure. We might want to just pull a little closer to.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to make sure we
Drift away there a little bit.
a little tiny
Okay.
bit. That's a little better. Yeah, the name of the game is the UV meter swing. you know?
Okay.
I think we got you right in there now.
Am I in the zone?
You're in the zone now.
Cool.
So, Brian Clash Band, Brian Griffin solo.
Yes.
And Brian Clash, I think, might be looking at. I was talking to a little somebody in your band recently about some plans. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, but you got something coming up this summer with a band.
We do. usually we're going to be hopefully doing some of the festivals around town, and that'll,
In Columbus, Ohio.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We've been very, we've been very happy to be part of ComFest for the last several years, and last year was the first year I got to do it with the Brian Clash Band, which was a blast. And then the big thing coming up at the end of July, we're going to be doing kind of like a little mini tour of some places in New York and New Jersey. And just going to make that run and kind of shoot on back here. And we'll have more details of that on our website, brianclashband.com. And we'll have all those links up there, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Whichever links you want, Brian.
All right,
I'll take
perfect.
care of you, man. And that can change over time too. You just gotta let me know, and I can change it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. BrianClashBand.com. That's like the big one you can go to. Have all our show dates and music dates and merch and all that stuff.
That's really cool. So when you do that tour, we'll just keep our eyes peeled for that and some of the social media sites and. The dates are getting
We're
pulled
starting
together.
you're starting to get everything all cemented down there, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be a real fun time. Just kind of hit these places up and kind of spread the word a little bit, and just get into some new wonderful venues. I'm looking forward to just being out and about with the band. This will be
and even a little bit outside of Columbus, Ohio too, which is
Exactly.
kind of cool. Yeah.
Exactly. Just kind of expand that fan base a little bit. So
Good for you. I'm glad to hear that, Brian. You've been a songwriter, a guitarist, band leader. For how long?
I started kind of writing lyrics. I always had like kind of music in my head. I would always have, like growing up ever since I was little, I would just have these little tunes going da, 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 in my head and stuff. And then starting around age 15, I started writing these down, these lyrics. And for the longest time, at this time, I didn't play music yet. I didn't really learn to start playing guitar until I was 18, which is like late, you know. But I started learning basic guitar. I was self-taught, just learned stuff from the guitar handbook and the chord changes and, you know, all my basic chords, and added music to it, added the words. I added the music to the words. The words always came first, the lyrics. And
How do they come to you?
a
Or
lot
how
of,
do they come to you? Do they come to you the same way today as they did originally when you were younger? Or is it different?
a lot of times I'll have like little snippets of stuff, and I'll write down like little half pages and something, and then I'll come back to it like maybe at a later time and it'll all come through. But then there's the ones that you're not even writing. You're like the vessel. It's coming through you. You looked at, and you're just writing, and then like 20 minutes later you have a complete song. And those are the ones that, you know, I'm just it's just passing through me. It's just going from source through me to creating something on paper, and then we make the words and the music from it, and becomes a reality. It's like the best art is that way, creating something out of that kind of nothingness, that ether, and it comes in.
So when you were younger, was it coming to you that same way?
It was. And there was like a time where I was, I had this summer job. I worked at a concrete plant, and I was like, kind of like in the office at the concrete plant, writing invoices. And most of the time it was like 1 hour of work. Rest of the time while all the truckers went out to do their runs, and then they came back and then they brought back their invoices. And the rest of the time I wrote songs. And I was really into stuff like Buddy Holly and stuff like that at the time. And that summer I wrote like 75 different songs.
Oh my gosh, Brian.
And they were all like just these kind of pure kind of pop, those early kind of, you think Buddy Holly, like Peggy Sue, that kind of stuff. It was just, and it all just came
Just a
flowing
pop,
through. Yeah.
just a pop song.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just,
But the whole thing came through you.
it all came through, and with the music and stuff. And I always have the tunes in my head. I always know what they're going to sound like. Like I could sing the songs, and then at the time, I just had to work on, okay, how do I get those sounds that are in my head? Like, what are the right chords? And that part's become easier now.
It's so amazing.
Good.
So there have been a couple people that I've discovered that are tapped in like you are. They're like you in that music comes through them, and you become the caretaker of that material.
Exactly.
And it's so special, dude. I mean, it's kind of giving me goosebumps, like it really is cool. I can relate a little tiny bit. I haven't really focused on allowing that to happen on a regular basis personally.
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid to get back into that saddle, but I've cranked out some melodic stuff in the past, and then just really focused on cover song type projects. But you've been at it for when did that start for you? How old were you?
I was, as I said, I started playing music, songs and stuff. As I said, learned guitar at 18 and started doing original music. I had a band with friends of mine called Xenix. This was like 84, 85. And we played just mainly like pool gigs, like we played the Hilliard Pool. And we did, we were together through members of the D Malay, which is like a fraternal organization. And they were my friends, and I knew them through school. And we played our songs, and it was fun. We did like old 50s songs too, like Eddie Cochran, and then we also did some Rush. There was Rush in there too. It's like my friends are big Rush fans. Evan's out there, yeah. But after that, I just kind of settled down a little bit. I was still writing, but life kind of came along. Married, 2 kids, and
shifted your focus accordingly.
It did. Yeah. It did. I was a stay-at-home dad when the kids were young, and you do have that focus shift. And then around the year 2000, the thing that really started getting me active again was the whole Elian Gonzalez situation. And we'll do a little fast background here. Elian Gonzalez was I think he was 13, 14, or a little boy at the time. He was like 4. And his parents, one was in Miami, one was in Cuba. And his mom was bringing him across the border, and she passed across the Gulf of Mexico and to Florida. And she passed away, and the father wanted to have him back in Cuba, and the relatives wanted him in Florida. It was a big kind of situation. And I wrote a song called Elian, and that was based on a song by Phil Oakes, who was a big influence on me too. And I could go on talking about Phil Oakes forever, but and that kind of revived my fire. It kind of just stoked the flame.
You're re-engaged into the fabric of the universe.
Exactly. And
where the music is.
Yeah, and this was and I wanted to kind of do like a protest. Phil Oakes was a great topical songwriter, folk singer, and he was like a friend, associated with Bob Dylan in the 60s, and his music really moved me. And I just started wanting to do that kind of music, and there were like things going around at the time, kind of various political causes at the time, and I was starting to do music about that as well, kind of getting out there and refocusing again, and just getting the voice heard.
And how old were you approximately? Like,
At that time, I was 37,
Okay.
about 2000. And I did have this kind of, all these songs written. I probably, at that time, it was from like about maybe 400 songs, like lyrics written down.
wow.
And I got to this point, I was about ready to hit 40, and it's like, what are you doing with these? You're given this gift of being able to write this stuff, to create this stuff. What are you going to do with it? Are you just going to keep it in these like old songbooks that no one's going to see, until after you're gone or something? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So it was time to get it out.
Wow. So Brian, 400 songs.
Yes. Just a,
What
just a
did
tad.
you what did you do at that point? And you're juggling family life, but it's
Right. It's
changing up a little bit and loosening you up for more time in this music area.
It is, and it's the songs. I still have a lot of them there. I'm working on getting them out now. There's one song I wrote back in 1989 called "Sidelines," and that was like my kind of kicking myself in the ass song about trying to get out and do stuff. Like tired of sitting on the sidelines, still at the starting gate. I was trying to just get moving. And I wrote that in '89. It took me some time to get it recorded. And, that was like always been a constant in my sets. And actually, we're doing a new version of it on the new album that's coming out. So, yeah, time to get started.
And you're off to the races, it seems.
Yeah. And the tricky part is, and making it happen and trying to keep the balance too between, this music life and, kind of your home life and stuff. And sometimes that could be hard. And so, you do kind of have to pay sometimes you do pay a bit of a price on that. But, and it's really kind of something that I always struggle with. But there is like, you want to be there at home, but then also you have this almost desire from your heart to even just kind of go out and do. You got to get this going, you got to get this message out. So
Right.
it gets tricky sometimes. Let's
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah. I mean, I think many struggle with the directions our hearts and our souls are, kind of guiding us to address.
Yes.
You're not alone, man. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, and
doesn't make it any easier, but
no. And you'd always handle things better in hindsight. So there's that. But, the main thing I just always want to try to do is put love out there, and just with anything that's happening, like with a lot of my lyrics, sometimes they'll be dealing about kind of really heavy things that are happening in the world. And I always want to say, yes, this is happening, and, there's an eye to that, but there's a better way out of it. There's a way that we can make the world better. And if, playing these songs and getting them out there can make somebody's life better and help make this world a little better place, that's my main reason, for being out here and doing this. So
it's a good message, and there's some inspirations in there too.
yes, yeah, I kind of got this from like going back to the Clash, like when I was first hearing them, and and they talked very much about like how bad the situation was in so many ways, but their music was so vital, and their message was like, yeah, this is bad, but we can get through this, and together we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt.
But, so yeah, back to the story. So yeah, I started playing open stages around April of 2000, and just kind of brushing up my guitar skills and just getting out and performing before an audience again. And a great place there was the Thirsty Ear down in Grandview. I played their weekly open stage with Donna McGavero was the host, and then later Billy Zen. And I learned a lot from them on how to respond to audiences, to kind of feel the, get us, be a performer. And as I said, I also had Willie too, as well, as a source, and also those bands and stuff that I listened to growing up.
Yeah, and it's all floating around in there.
It
right?
It is.
Making you who you are.
It's a mixed stew of all these influences, and
Those are some great names, though. Great influences. You're fortunate to have that direct mentorship. But
yes.
Anyone who goes to see you perform can see, and they obviously saw. You have that little something, and I think that little something, that we see in others that are performing as well is their innate abilities. Many times, just keep shining. It's like an aura.
Well,
you definitely have one of those, man.
Well,
when
my
you're
gosh.
performing, you transform into this Brian Clash, onslaught. I'll call it, right. It's entertaining. It's high energy. It's very Clash-like, and you personify, I think, what your goal is, and that's to make people feel good.
Yeah, and just to make them aware of what's going on in the world too. There's that, we're having a good time, but we're also like kind of making aware. We're gonna one of the great quotes from Bruce Springsteen, because he's also another big influence, is no one wins unless we all win, and it is about inclusion. It's about getting everybody aboard. And sometimes it could be really hard because there are some people with very divergent, beliefs and things out there in the world, and sometimes it's really hard to kind of really take that in. But you gotta say, all right, come on along on the ride with us, and you'll see, we have more in common than we do our differences.
I believe that too. I think it even goes beyond the human species. I mean, as far as connections are concerned, there's so much we don't understand.
Right.
But somehow I think music cracks open some windows to that
That's one
understanding.
of those basic ones. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So
yeah, music is that connection. We have that musical connection, and it is kind of amazing where you see people could be a very kind of opposite kind of directions or paths, but one thing they'll have in common is like, oh, they'll like the Beatles, or they'll like these rock bands and stuff, and it's like, okay, maybe we can build something from there. Like maybe we could see some common ground there. It's like that's our common ground there with the music, and maybe in other ways you could see like, okay, well, let's change our thinking a little bit, to something that's a little bit more helpful to everyone.
Yeah, good for you. That's a good attitude. It's a good global perspective.
Well, we got to. I mean, this is our world. This is what we have. We got to try to keep it going and keep it going together. Yeah. And, and just kind of destroy all these lines there. I have a new song coming out called What the New Day Holds. And it's going to be on the new album. So one of the lyrics that I have, and this was one of those ones that kind of came to me, we're all in this together. There's no need to compete. There is no us and them. That is the big deceit. And it is true.
That's a powerful remark. It's very powerful.
And that's, we're spent so much time kind of fighting over these little stupid issues that really don't matter when the big life issues are just passing us by.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. It's pretty wild what's happening, Wild.
Yes, this year especially, just getting out. And I feel, I have to be really committed to the music this year. This year, I really have to get this message out and just really just show this, that we can get along together. We can build a world together. Start it with your life, with what you do. My very dear friend Joellen, my dear companion, she has a music studio, and she does her work with one student at a time and building love of music. And with that, you could build love of the world. And it's amazing seeing her work like that.
Wow.
It's very inspiring.
Oh my gosh.
And just
one at a time, right?
yeah, and just just working out that joy, and not, you can sit and yell and do a protest and stuff, but the true work is with one-on-one, like with each kind of audience.
Right.
And that's how you change minds. That's how you change worlds. And
there's a quote by Abraham Lincoln that I truly like that says, the best way to predict the future is to create it.
Yes.
Yes. And I think it's what
Yes.
you're kind of talking about, Brian.
Right. I mean, this is what we have.
Yeah.
This is our moment here. These are our moments. We are all alive. You're alive at this moment right now. I'm alive at this moment right now. And there's no guarantees on when that's, how far that's going to happen. And we're all in this together.
Yeah. Well, we are.
And that is what, we have to really just live to our potential. Just live to help each other. Just live to just bring love to the
Our existence, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And coexist with those that are around us. Mm-hmm. Accept our differences and move on. I mean,
Right.
you're not going to convince somebody of a different perspective necessarily.
right.
We all come from different places.
And you all have that. Everyone has their history, and the cool thing is, just when you get down to the basic brass tacks, there are some things that we all have, like love for our children, love for the next generation. And those are the things that are count, and those are the things that we can use to move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's the long and short of it, I guess.
But that's a great theme wrapped around your music, and I'd like to learn a little more about your musical journey too, with those themes. Going through some of the open jams and
Right.
getting to the point where you've stayed in touch with Willie Phoenix and others through that time into the 2000s. But how did you kind of break away from your solo and into the recording and live performance of your music and some of the Brian
In the band, yeah.
In how many, there may be other bands that drove you up to Brian Clash. I don't know, but if you want to talk about some of those.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Going into, as I said, I was doing the open stages, and I ended up getting to the point where I recorded the first album in 2003 called Late Bloomer. It's like some 40 years in the making.
Yeah.
And that was just basically acoustic guitar and vocals, and my friend Mark Reinhardt, who's part of the band Rich Meaty Taste, and he's a great musician and a singer-songwriter. He helped me with the guitar parts on that. He was the second guitarist and did an amazing player. And from there, I did a second album called Homefront. It came out in 2004, or actually 2005, and that was like my pure kind of political album. And it was like topical folk songs, very Phil Oakes. I did a song by The Clash on there, and Phil Oakes, and just also original music, kind of what was happening at that time, right after the second election of George W. Bush, and that was a rough time. I'll just say, And
Yeah.
and then I released another album called Love Lost, which was more of a personal album of some of the stuff I was going through at that time. And from there, I just kept writing, and as life happened, still playing out, still doing solo stuff, and then I started performing at various actions, like for against the death penalty. I would play at protests for that, and like worked with things put together by the Columbus Free Press. And I would go down to the State House, and we were part of the Occupy movement as well. Occupy Columbus movement. I tried to get down there several times to play guitar and sing, and several of my other friends did. And a number of the people who did those protests, we decided to start recording stuff. And actually, kind of before that happened, I can tell you how I kind of got reacquainted with Willie. Was my son Paul, my oldest son Paul, was a member of the Black Box theater group for Fort Hays, and I was going to one of his performances. I look over in the audience, I see Willie Phoenix. I was like, "Oh, Willie!" And after, and then like when there was like,
miss Willie. when
no,
he's
no,
around.
Willie is,
He's a
back
beacon.
in the day, he was like the King of High Street. That's what his official title was. And then after that, during intermission, we kind of caught up a little bit and just like, how's it going? And his son was also in the same play as my son. So that's kind of how we got back together again. And we started talking about, like Willie said, "Oh yeah, I've heard you around town. I want to really work with you." And I'm like going, "Sure, okay, this is cool. I'm digging this."
Yeah.
And so starting at 2012, we started working on stuff with my kind of State House friends. We call ourselves Uncle John's State House Band, and we did several tracks in the studio, and then after that, I just kept on recording songs. Willie had some songs that he wanted me to perform, and I did a lot of my original work as well. And we did an original version of the Brian Clash Band back in probably 2014, 2015.
Okay, so you've been branded this band for
Yeah.
about 10 years, give or take. Yeah.
And in between, I had a project called the Coffee House Rebels. With a lot of great local musicians. Chuck Oney was bass player for me for a lot of that run, and John Estep was played guitar for us, and also Carolyn O'Leary was drums. She originally playing with Scrawl, and also I had another drummer, Sarah Noble, who played with me as well. And Coffee House Rebels, that went right up into the pandemic, and we were starting to build up a nice little head of steam and stuff.
Sure.
And we did a show on February 3rd down at Victory's, which was like one of those shows for the ages where the crowd came in and it was like just screaming and stuff, and we were just like, yeah, this is. And then a month later, pandemic.
Yeah, put the damper on a lot. It did.
Yeah, and I just kind of took some of that time. I kind of went back to. I also do kids music, and I didn't. I haven't. And I've been writing some songs too for kids stuff, and I perform around town as Mr. Brian, and that's a whole nother side. And it's fun.
Of your music.
Yes.
So are these original children's songs that you're coming up with?
I do a number of original songs, and I have to do kind of the hits too.
What are some of those hits? I'm just curious.
Oh well, for the kids' music,
Yeah.
you gotta have like kind of your basic. Yeah, Old MacDonald. That's
Okay, I got you.
and we kind of do like a kind of a rockin' version of that, and also.
So is it in the same Brian Clash style? A lot of down picking type.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be energetic. We'll be energetic and kind of, and just want to get. And I'll tell you what, those kid audiences, they are amazing because they're still pure. They have
They get up and dance.
Oh, we get dancing. We get dancing, and I do a program now through the schools, and actually Eric Altine is the one who kind of, did this program. I'm doing this kind of work for him now. It's where he sets up we have microphones set up. The kids come up and sing, and it's really kind of cool how they just kind of get up there and just have their own musical moments. And as I said, Eric Altine is a great performer and a great local musician as well. And he's the one that kind of put this all together, and I'm kind of helping him carry that on.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's cool.
So, yeah, I think I'm trying to think. And then, yeah, pandemic came, and then we're starting to where we start putting this new project together, because Willie was like going, I really want to build a project around you. I really want to get you musicians who are just going to be, kind of focused on what you're doing and kind of wanting to be this whole group sound. And it's like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And then he started kind of helping find these musicians to work with. And one of them was one of the first ones was Tina Holly.
Yeah.
And you had her on here for one of your programs. And
yeah, I love Tina. She, what an inspiration she is.
Oh, she is, just at this point in life, just getting out and playing drums and just
following her heart,
following that dream that she's had, and
love it.
And I just love her energy, and she helps us, with.
She seems perfect for this band.
She is. She's very helpful, with focus and stuff too, because she comes from an education background. So, and sometimes like my artist ADHD brain kind of just goes all over the place, as you might know from some of this interview here. But
it's all good, man. It's all good.
But yeah, and also Willie kind of also had he knew Cece Clyde Hanna, who plays bass with the band, and we brought him along. Yeah, cool, he is. He's a really wonderful soul, and I really love just kind of bouncing the ideas off him, and he's just he's just been a great kind of player to work with, and I just love his energy, and it's just been great to work with him and Tina as well. And we had our original guitarist is Jack Ballard, and he's a wonderful, wonderful player and fun, just a really fun energy. And he's like working on some of his own stuff right now. And in this new year, we just got a new guitarist. His name is AJ, Aaron Joseph, and his dad actually played drums with Willie in one of his carnations of band.
Oh, it's nice to keep things in the family.
Oh, yeah. And Cece, his father-in-law, was Kaz, who played bass with Willie for years. So it's all
in the family.
All connected.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so you worked on that during the pandemic, it seems, and then some. But then, you have a wonderful venue, El Dorado's on High Street, High in Morse, that is a huge, huge supporter of local Columbus music.
They are.
For years.
Right.
And, you guys got involved in the new music showcase that they have. I'm sorry, which nights is that?
Tuesday nights from 8 to 11. They usually have 3 performers there, and it's just wonderful to be part of that and just see the new music coming up. One of the bands that we kind of, Cece knew him because his son plays in it, Courtney from Work.
Oh, sure.
And they are a real fun, high energy band. And it was great to hear them and we were doing some shows with them as well. So it's kind of nice to have a younger band and they are just great to work with them and play with them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and you can show them the way, and help mentor them too. That's how it works. Sometimes it's great.
Oh yeah, they I'll tell you what, they're doing great. They're good. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know what much they can learn some stuff from us. But hey, you never know.
I don't know how anybody couldn't, Brian. And you're kind of roped into this creative avenue, I'll call it. That's such a gift. And you're sharing what you're learning from that, right? And it's coming into your music.
Working on it. Yeah, as I said, it's been I kind of grown when I was really young. I would do art, and I ended up going to Ohio State, graduating with a degree in fine arts, and doing kind of using illustrating. And I always thought that, well, that's something I can always do when I'm older. Like, at the time in my mind, this was like, some 40 years ago. It's like, you don't see a lot of old musicians, but you can see older artists. So, this was my thinking at the time. But now it's like, okay, I'm getting up here, it's like, and then all kind of like people like Bruce and stuff, they're doing it into their 70s and 80s now. So it's like, wow, I didn't expect that back in 1980 and stuff.
It's never too late, man.
No.
It's never too late.
And that's what we're here for. And I think all of us have that creativity to use, and we all get that energy kind of from source. It comes through us. And that's where the best stuff comes from.
Oh my gosh. But not everyone is fortunate to be that tapped into what you're describing, with the creative avenue. I think everyone can tap into it. I just don't know how big that bandwidth is. Yeah. Sort of like if you look at a person, there's probably thousands of little bars of personality traits. And the creative avenue to the fabric of the universe is one of those bars. Some people, like you, are really tied in. There are others that have done a podcast episode that describe some similar experiences as you with original music just coming out. It fascinates me, man. It just really is so cool. Others, may not have that. There might be a little chance in there, but they're going to be more on the consuming side of that.
Yeah, and it may not even be like music or like an artistic endeavor. It could be like how you can even just, make a meal, or just the things that you do that help keep this world moving, that help keep this world brighter, that has that positive energy in it. And, stuff like music and art, those are the things that, you see and that you go to, but you can even have that connection.
Sure.
With almost anything you do.
That's a good point. I like that.
Oh, but yeah.
Goya.
I know
we have some Goya paintings that are kind of changing every, I don't know, 10 minutes or so here in the room that we're producing this episode. Here. But the Goya etchings were something that caught Brian's eye.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of energy in these images, Brian.
There is, and this, he was like, you talk about musical influence, this was like an artistic influence on me. The etchings that Goya did for the kind of the political etchings, what was it? I want to say it's like almost called the Terrors, I think they were called. I'm messing up the translation of it, but they were very kind of almost like editorial cartoons, and for the time, and they were very kind of just mainly line work, and they were just talking very abrupt and very almost like I could hear like the music of the Clash playing to this stuff.
Oh, sure.
You know,
There's a
it's
lot of energy in these.
a lot of energy and
Yeah.
a lot of action and just kind of bringing it to
Movement.
movement, and that's keep on moving, keep on living. You know, that's like that's what we
I
got
can
to
see why
do.
you would like this artist. Yeah.
Yeah, and
One of the, I don't know, is Goya considered a master?
oh, he's
You studied art. I have
Yeah,
I have
it's-
two art students that were my sons,
Uh-huh.
or still are my sons. but
Yeah,
they,
right,
They
right.
studied art. They would know some of this.
oh yeah. I mean his works were very, you know, he's like one of those you know, kind of like one of the big artists, you know, that you would really just look back and recognize
yeah.
it. And like some of his portraiture work of like the royal families, because he was hired by the royal family to work on stuff and, you know, to do works for him, commission works. And these are the ones that we're looking at now are just a little bit different. So, but yeah, he was like a big influence artistically and getting to another thing, getting back to the music is I got to meet Mick Jones of The Clash. Was a very cool moment.
Wow. Good for you.
And I met, that was like back in 94 when they were, or 92 when they were touring around with Big Audio Dynamite. And I met him, I told him like, oh, you know, I try not to be too much of a fanboy around him. Like,
It's hard to do that sometimes.
I know, it's like, you know, just like, oh, your music was a big influence on me. And mentioned to him I had a band, and he goes, well, keep it up, you know, keep it up. You got to keep it up. And that's always been like, whenever I'm kind of like feeling like, I'm ready to chuck it all in.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, kind of remember what Mick said. And also, like, the words of Joe Strummer were very inspiring to me. Like, he just, keep your hope alive, you know? And that's, get out there and do it, you know? Action is what.
Action.
Action.
Yes. Do it. Make it happen.
Absolutely.
Create your future.
Yes.
That's cool.
And that's what we're trying to do with our little band here and rocking out and just having fun and also just
Keeping it real.
keeping it real and keeping alive. Keeping alive. That's what's the part.
And living your dream.
Yes.
Yeah, good for you. That's exciting stuff, and it's very inspirational, Brian. I wish you continued momentum, you know, keep rolling forward. And not only Columbus, but it sounds like you're branching out a little further than the capital city in Ohio, which
we're
is
starting
which
to
is
get
good
out. We
stuff.
did some shows like in Yellow Springs last year, so we're kind of getting out that way. And hopefully, I think we're going to be doing some maybe shows like Cincinnati as well, and Akron and Youngstown. So we're kind of, and then with the tour in New York, that's New York and New Jersey. That's going to be fun.
That's going to be freaking awesome, I'm
Stay
sure.
tuned,
It's
folks.
been a while, but yeah. I'd like to come see you guys in one of those clubs.
Yeah, well, you know,
Maybe I
and
can talk Beth into maybe a long
a
weekend.
little
in
road
New
trip,
York.
we can-
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on those dates.
all right, I'll
It's
keep
an
you
easy
posted.
trip over there. It's an hour flight, if that, 45-minute flight.
Yeah, we'll be driving. We'll be having like we're still working out travel details, but yeah, we'll be hitting the road, the actual road.
Good deal.
So,
Good deal.
well, thank you so much for this, Lynn.
Oh,
Too, and what you're
absolutely,
doing. Oh
Brian.
my gosh, I mean, it's one thing to do perform and do music, and thank you for documenting this. And it's truly
It kind of is a documentary to some degree, right? But, we get a sense of everyone who shares. Mm-hmm. And we got a beautiful sense of Brian Clash. What a great guy. You know, and you're a special person. You're
right
very
back
special,
at
dude.
you. Well, you're very kind. Thank you.
And you've intersected with some names that, also have an episode. And we'll keep doing this, as long as people want to share their stories and their inspirations and their desires, right? And as long as we're plenty of people listening right now, so that's good to know. and I'll keep working to grow that exposure.
Love you all out there. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being out here. And thank you for being part of this.
And thank you for making your music, Brian. I'm going to keep an eye on that stuff. And
All right. Yeah.
maybe when we're done here, we'll listen to Chuck Oney's new release. I have it on vinyl.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah. So Chuck.
He's coming soon.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I
that'll
can't
be
wait.
fun. Yeah.
That'll be fun too.
Oh, he's a blast. I just love Chuck. He's just a fun energy to perform with, and just a great guy all around. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there'll be more too.
All right.
Some more of your friends, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and let me say, I gotta say website again, www.brianclashband.com. Go there. That'll give you all the information. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, and music-wise, Bandcamp, and we're going to be out there, Spotify, and Apple Music, and all those other streaming services. So yeah, give a listen. Hope you like what you hear, and we'll have some more coming up here soon for you.
Can't wait, Brian. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you, Len.
And that is episode number 58, Brian Clash of the Brian Clash Band. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Take care.
And thanks for
Peace.
listening. Bye-bye.